There we go. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Goodness, goodness, goodness. Well, I couldn't resist. Thank you for showing up, Winter Night, and thank you for being the first comment. By the way, do not forget to check out Winter Night 17. Don't forget to check him out. Anyways, because now that we have somebody in the stream, now that we do have someone said in said stream, now we can unbox the dang thing. So, moving this Galvatron off to the side, next to this Studio Series Galvatron. This one's gonna sit. This Studio Series Galvatron is gonna sit next to this Studio Series Galvatron, which is a bit better at holding his legs. So yeah. All right. So I did get this at Ross. I did get it for retail price at Ross. So if you think I did not, I did. I like to remove these stickers because these stickers just kind of annoy the out of me every time. Every time. So yeah. Let's get the sticker off the box here. There we go. Alright, now that we've gotten that off the box, now we can get into the actual goodies of the figure here. To which, by the way, has anybody else actually gotten this? Or did they actually purchase this for, like, retail? Like, did anybody actually purchase this for retail? I'm only asking that because I genuinely... I'm one of those people who didn't care for this figure. Because it was just... To me, I just don't understand some of this, but, you know, hey, could be worse. Could be worse, so. That being said, if you do want to check out the review when the review does go live, do not forget to do so. This is the first time I've seen of this figure. Okay, so this figure, if you live in the United States of America, you can get this figure currently at Ross. I purchased this beautiful beast here for $15 and change. So, yeah. And I purchased this guy for full price at Ross. I did unfortunately own the original Legacy Evolutions Megatron. So if you had that version of the figure, this is not going to be anything new. So genuinely, if you did get a hold of the Legacy United Megatron, there's genuinely, and I cannot stress this enough, zero reason for you to pick this guy up. Okay? And the reason why I say that is because there was a point when the Legacy Evolutions Armada Megatron was way cheaper than this guy is currently at Ross. So if you want this guy, I'm going to tell you right now, go pick him up at Ross if you never picked up the Megatron. If you didn't pick up the Megatron, seriously, go pick this guy up. It's a good mold. It's a really wonderful thing. However, if you did not pick this guy up and you picked up Megatron instead, keep your Megatron. Don't purchase this. I realized that I left my skizzers in the other room. Give me just 1 second, Zap. So, yes. Oh, goodness. That being said, do not forget to subscribe if you guys do want to check the review for this guy when it does come live. Alright, so now what I do remember about this guy is that this folds out. And yeah, you had to just kind of pull everything through on this guy. That was the one thing I did not like about the Armada molds. However, I might actually keep this guy. Not because I love the mold or I love the way that this thing looks or anything of that nature. I might actually genuinely keep it because I actually like, some of the stuff that David K does, and you can totally do the whole waste cannon if you guys do remember what that was about. So yeah, that was one of his things. Another one of his things that he could also do that a lot of people were kind of meh on, and myself included. I did not care for this. I really did not. How did we do that? How did you do that? Yeah, we did it this way. So, lift all this up. Remove, or not remove. Rotate the waist, and then you could pop this forward, and then you could do that, and you could totally do the whole rotation of the chest thing that the original did as well. That's one thing I do remember of this figure is I do remember this because I did review the original Legacy Evolutions Armada Megatron. I did review that. So if you guys do want to go check that out, I would highly suggest you subscribe because that review was much better than this. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be much better than this one's going to be because this one is going to be they added more paint. That's great. Do I really care? Not all that much. If it was, let me be very clear. If it was 2003 again, maybe 2004 again, I might care. But I don't. So, yeah. I'm going to just get this guy into his tank mode and we shall see where this takes us. So, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. I also remember that you could do this. Yeah. There's a lot of things about this figure that I should not remember, but I remember it. Oh, I remember them. And I remember them very, very, very well, unfortunately. But I do remember them. So, at least I remember most of them. I don't remember all of them, but I do remember most of them. Yeah, so that went up over the face. Yeah, I remember now. This piece had to be lifted up. Come on. There we go. Yeah, that had to be lifted up. Popped into the shoulder pads like so. I remember things. I remember things. And this had to be rotated all the way around, and the waist had to be rotated around again. I do remember this figure. This figure was... I remember this figure well. I remember it well. Take note, I don't really know that... Like, remember how I said that the last couple figures that I had were going to be the last legacy figures that I was going to review? And if I'm not mistaken, that was the... what was it? It wasn't the Deadeye Duel 2-pack. It was the Legacy United Tigerhawk. Yeah. To which, by the way, if you guys were looking for that, you could get that at Ross if you were interested in getting it. So, yeah. So, yeah. That being said, do not forget to subscribe, or not, do not forget to subscribe, and do not forget to comment, because if you do comment, as Winter Knight himself knows in the comments below, you do get shouted out at the end of every stream, so do not forget to do that if you guys are able to do that. So, yeah. Oh, goodness. Goodness, goodness. We have the channel animal here. We have the channel animal. Yes, we do. That's the channel animal. We do. Come here, little dude. Come here. All right, let's get you up here. Oh, so we do have the channel animal here, and his name is Toast. I do have a kitty cat in my lap. Everybody asks me, "Do you really have one?" Yes, I do. It's my buddy Toast. This is the buddy. This is the channel animal. This is the reason why everybody subscribes. so, but but anyways, back to the figure at hand here. So, I do have a kitty cat in my lap. If everybody is questioning that, so yeah. I don't know if anybody can hear the loud purring or not, but I do have a very, 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 very loud kitty in my lap. So, oh goodness, you know what I find entertaining about these figures, is specifically the repaints, is the fact that sometimes the repaints do a better job at the actual painting of the figure than the original. Like, from what I've seen so far, this might just be better than the original Armada Megatron from Legacy Evolutions. So, like, seriously, I cannot fault this figure for any of that. No, you're not getting on my shoulders. Come on. There you go. Sorry, the kitty cat's very upset. Speaking of which, just the kitty. Hey, buddy. So, yo, what's going on, Corey Tucker? How are you doing this fine evening? So, goodness. So, how is everybody doing this fine evening? I really do want to know how y'all are doing, because if y'all are doing great, then the stream is doing good. So, all right, let's take a stab. Oh wait, yeah. Hold on. Let's see. Can we actually replicate this on the packaging here? I think we can. Because I actually have at my disposal. I do have at my disposal. I do have. There we go. So there you go. That's quite awesome. So, yeah. Do not forget to comment, because if you do comment, you do get shouted out. Corey and Winter Knight do know this. Do you prefer the older Transformer figures or the newer models? I'm doing good. I'm paying for an 86 Scavenger on this Thursday coming up. Hey, 86 Scavenger was a good figure. I'm not going to lie. Hold on here. Do you prefer the older Transformers or the newer models? I'm kind of in between. Because I like old toys in the sense that they have certain nostalgia for me. Like, for example, if somebody were to offer me or tell me, "Hey, I have a Transformers 2007 not Hunt for the Decepticons, a 2007 to 2008 black what was it? Was it the stealth mode Bumblebee from 2007 with the automorphing gun and the auto transformation of the wings?" Again, I would not complain, because I do have certain nostalgic feelings for certain figures. However, in recent light of days, I have to say that the engineering on these things has gotten significantly better. I think it's gotten significantly better, and I also think it's gotten significantly worse. The translucent Bumblebee for sure definitely is on that list. But for example, like, I do have nostalgic feelings for certain figures. Like, so a 2007 to 2008 what was it? Stealth mode Bumblebee, a 2009 Revenge of the Fallen Leader class Megatron. If you were to offer those to me, you would definitely get a yes from me. But I'm going to tell you right now, there are certain figures that I think definitely did not deserve the high praise that they get. one of those figures that does not get the high praise, and I'm very grateful it doesn't, is actually Armada Sideswipe. I would die if someone offered me the Leader Class Revenge of the Fallen mainline Optimus Prime. Funny story, I actually was offered that once before. I was offered it as part of a trade, and I was like, I've never owned that one, so I definitely took it. So I definitely accepted it as part of the trade, but I definitely did not keep it long because in the what was it, 5 to 6 years, almost 7 years that I had it, um, it decided to take a fall off of my shelf and decided to be brittle in every possible way and just shattered. So my copy of the Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime is currently in the trash. It is currently destroyed. Not as in I personally destroyed it, for those of you just tuning in. I did not personally destroy it. It fell off of my shelf, and I did not have any way to fix it. So, yep. You know what's sad is Riveted actually knows what day this or maybe not what day, but that did happen. The ones on eBay are in very sad condition. I'm not gonna lie, they really are, which is why I don't really shop on eBay for specific figures. And that one particularly is not one that I would shop on eBay for. I think, personally, if you're gonna go for a good place to go get that particular figure and or old ones, is a app called Mercari. And this app exists in both Japan and the United States. I only know this because I've ordered a couple things from Japan and it does work. It's pretty dang cool. But I'm not going to lie. You can go and get some pretty cool things on both Mercari America and Mercari Japan. I also think you can get it on I think Canada has it too, but I'm not 100% certain. For me, the one figure I do want to get, but it's way out of my price range, is the 4 foot tall Metroplex, and my dream figure is the HasLab Unicron. Oh, so you want the divorce class Metroplex? That's what everybody's been calling that, and I gotta tell you, that is one figure I 1000% get on board with. If I was married and my wife told me it's me or the figure, I would 100% tell her, okay, take a hike, because, yeah, that ain't going to disappear anytime soon. So, one of my dream figures is the Studio Series movie Ironhide. You know what's sad is that I really am very frustrated with Hasbro on this, because, lest we recap, they gave us a re-release of this before they gave us a re-release of Ironhide. So, in that term, fuck you, Hasbro. But in that same term, give us the freaking Ironhide re-release we've been asking for. Just do one complete re-release wave. Do one wave. Just one. Just one. Just one wave. That is all you have to do. I'm going to tell you right now which figures you need to re-release in one wave, okay? One wave. Just one Studio Series re-release wave. That's all you have to do. We'll start with deluxe classes. Deluxe class, crankcase, crowbar, and, well, we already got hatchet. So if you didn't get hatchet, screw you. But at the same time, you know, go ahead and find yourself a hatchet. But crankcase and crowbar, those two first ones right out the bat. Second one, get yourself a Dino right into that middle price there. Dude, the price people put him up on for resale makes me need to be a billionaire just to afford him. You know what's sad is I agree with you. I agree with you, Winter Knight. I agree with you, and I think Corey Tucker also agrees with you too. But at the same time, literally just do the first two dreads. Get yourself a Studio Series Dino as your third deluxe class, and if you want a fourth one just to sweeten the pot, seriously, give us that deluxe class, the deluxe class, either Roadbuster, Topspin, or Leadfoot. Give us one of the three wreckers back in that re-release wave. Give us one of the three. We don't have to have all of them, just one of the three, okay? Voyagers. your 2 Voyagers that you're allowed for your re-release period. Do not, and I mean do not skimp out on missing that Ironhide. And if I'm going to be real with you, do not skimp out on that Sentinel Prime. Take note, I did not care for Sentinel Prime because I have the superior version. I have the Dark of the Moon leader class version. That is the superior version I will die on the hill that Sentinel Prime is the definitive Sentinel Prime. Because take note, I don't hate the new one, I just don't care for it. So true, Knight. The aftermarket does suck with how people price stuff. It is true. I don't doubt that. I'm not even going to deny that because there are certain figures that I personally have that have hit ridiculously dumb prices on the aftermarket. So, but no. Ironhide and Sentinel Prime, re-release those 2 in your re-release. And as a leader class, I think it would be very, very beneficial because I already know they're doing their re-releases of the Studio Series 86 Dinobots. I know they're doing their re-release runs of those right now. I don't think you need to do the Studio Series 86 Dinobots, but I would like to see one final rerun of the leader class Optimus Prime from Dark of the Moon. I'd like to see one final rerun of that because that was a Target exclusive rerun and that was a Buzzworthy Bumblebee Target exclusive rerun. And take note, I did not hate Buzzworthy Bumblebee. What I hated about it was the fact that it was an exclusive line, exclusive to Target, and Target literally exclusified everything with it. I know it sounds like I'm saying the word exclusive, but it's true. Target literally exclusified all of the figures that they do that with. They're doing it now with the More Than Meets the Eye collection. Yo, what's up, Grayson Williams, W6Y7B? How are you doing, man? How are you? We just finished unboxing this beautiful bastard here, as the one Galvatron that can never stand up properly decides to fall. So yeah. Facts, I bought a leader class mainline Sentinel Prime from a thrift store, and after I left I realized he was missing his weapons and back panels, but it's nearly impossible to find those parts loosely. Good. Tom, me and you both have one fig that everyone wanted, then they did a re-release. Take note, I don't want that Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime re-release. I don't give a crap for it. Take note, I personally am fine with having Studio Series 32 and having the Revenge of the Fall. Take note, I bought the hold on, and that fig is the Earthrise Thrust. Yeah, I didn't care for the Earthrise Thrust. I didn't want that figure. I wanted it at one point, but then afterwards I was like, don't really need it, but I didn't hate it. I did not hate that mold, and I did not hate it. So it was a good figure, but I just personally don't need it anymore. And I did sell it, and I don't really care for it all that much. When they eventually redo the cone heads in Studio Series 86, that's when I will go for those ones. But back to the more issues at hand here. Hold on. What happened to your voice? What do you mean by what happened to my voice? My voice is fine, dear sir. My voice is perfectly fine. But anyways, point being is that so we have the re-release of that Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime. But at the same time, that Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime does not have to be the re-release. If they do decide to do that one a third time, I will be very shocked. I would personally like to see, and this is just me, I would like to see a re-release of either Grindor or Blackout. I want to see a re-release of that particular mold. So if they could possibly do something of that nature, I would 1000% get on board with it. So yeah, we'll just angle things in certain ways. So yes, dear sir, there we go. But anyways, so those would be a dope re-release. But however, so for the final leader class, it's either going, or for the leader classes, it's either going to be the Dark of the Moon re-release or the Grinder or blackout re-release. I would like to see that happen. And for the final leader class, Hasbro, you seriously, I would like to kick whoever they did in the pants really hard because of how limited and how short run this guy was. And for those of you who do not know what I'm pointing to right here, it is the Transformers Studios series Leader Class Concept Edition Megatron from the Bumblebee movie. Now, the reason why I say that needs to be the re-release wave is because that needs to be the re-release wave. This year, obviously, we're going to be focusing on Studio Series 86 because we're having the 40th anniversary of the movie. We clearly need to be focusing on that more than anything else on the current in the current moment on the market. What we don't need to be focusing on at the current moment, however, later on this year, if they get to it, again, Hasbro, if you could get to it, I'd be very grateful. Give us, for the final fucking time, Hasbro, give us either a 2-pack or a single pack of Studio Series Skids and Mudflap. For crying out loud. You guys have missed every opportunity for those two, including the re-release of the 15th, or including the 15th anniversary of Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. You missed it! Hasbro needs to get a grip on themselves and listen to us fans and give us what we want and need. This is actually going to sound hilarious right now, but Hasbro needs to take a tip from Mattel. What do I mean by that? Well, recently, Mattel has just rebranded one of its properties, and for those of you who do not know and or haven't guessed by this current point with the name of the channel, Thomas Fan 01 means Thomas the Tank Engine fan number 1. Obviously, I'm not the number 1 fan because I'm doing this right now. But Thomas the Tank Engine is currently getting a rebrand after its, what was it? They did, the first rebrand that they did was back in 2002. The second rebrand that they did was back in 2004. The third rebrand that they did was back in 2008. The fourth rebrand that they did was back in 2016. The fifth rebrand was in 2019. And the last rebrand prior to this current rebrand was in 2020. So hold on here. Mattel knows what the hell they're doing. Hasbro does not. I will take that as a partial yes and a partial no. I think both companies know what to do. I just feel like they both choose the wrong choice. Hold on here. Oh, Tom, funny thing is I love how even though that it's the 40th anniversary for the Transformers, they called the apology tour just because of the death of Optimus Prime. Yeah, I do agree with that. I think it was kind of a goofy choice for them to call it the apology tour, when in reality, it shouldn't be the apology tour. It should be the, we're sorry we ruined your childhood for the majority of time. So, hold on here. So you know the Earthspark figures that combine to make one figure? I do, but I personally don't care for Earthspark. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like Earthspark being titled as Generation 3, I feel like that is an insult. And I feel like it's not only an insult, I feel like it's a massive insult to every single Transformers fan that has been around, okay? That has been around since, at the very least, the era of 1984 when the show came out to 2001. That is the only era of Transformers fans that deserve any sort of leeway in the Earthspark conversation. I personally don't care for it because I just don't care for it. I never really did care for it. I thought it was kind of a joke. Now take note, I'm not saying the show itself is bad. I'm not saying all of that is great. I'm just saying I don't care for it. Hasbro decided instead of giving us cheap stuff to release the RoboSense, release the RoboSense Soundwave. I'm not gonna lie, the RoboSense Soundwave is actually pretty dope, and I really do want a copy of that. However, it's gonna be a minute before I'm able to acquire that because I would have to literally need, let's say, like 4 grand, maybe 5 to 6 if I really wanted to push it, because because if I'm gonna order one of them, I gotta order all of them. So if I'm gonna order Soundwave, I'm gonna order Megatron, I'm gonna order Bumblebee, I'm gonna order Optimus Prime, and I'm gonna order Grimlock. There's just no way I'm not going to. However, I will say this. Those figures, I would like to see them shrunken down to about that size. That's what I want to see. Now, am I saying that what they're doing with RoboSen, with them being ridiculously tall and Titan class size, is bad? No, it is not bad. Oh, Tom, I was going to say I was born in '02, and not even 7 months after I was born was when I started to watch the '84 series. Yeah, you know what's funny is I was born in the late '90s, and when I was born, my parents made sure that I watched all of their old television shows. I grew up on let's see here. What did I grow up on? I grew up on Thomas the Tank Engine. I grew up on Bob the Builder. I grew up on what was it? The Smurfs, Looney Tunes. There were loads of '80s cartoons that I grew up on, including Thundercats. What was it? Robotech. There was a lot of weird stuff that I watched when I was a kid. Um, let's see here. What else did I watch? There was a load of weird stuff. So hold on here. So I'm a G1. I'm gonna assume that means G1 Soundwave Glazer. Don't get me wrong, but I want my re-release of the Studio Series movie Ironhide. I agree. I agree. I agree with you 1,000%. I need that re-release. Either I need that re-release or I need that, what was it, the Autobot 5 pack to be re-released for the 20th anniversary of the '07 movie that's coming in literally next year. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you like Transformers Robots in Disguise? As its own separate thing, I think it works amazingly. I really think it does. As a continuation of Transformers Prime, I think it kind of goes along the scale. Like, I think it's a little bit of a messed up continuity for it to be with Transformers Prime, because they're technically resetting the series as a whole. That's what I'm a little upset about with it, is the fact that they're resetting the series as a whole at Transformers RID. Wait, hold on. Let me rephrase the question here. Actually, let's rephrase your question. Do you mean Robots in Disguise 2001, or do you mean Robots in Disguise as in the sequel series to Transformers Prime? Because there is a massive difference between the two. Because if I'm to rank RID 2015, I think it's okay, but I personally don't care for it. I'm in the weird minority of people that did not watch much of Transformers Prime. Number one, because I didn't have access to it, and number two, I just didn't care for it because it wasn't animated season 4. So that's my biggest complaint about Transformers Prime, is that it's not animated season 4. So, and with that fact and with you telling me it is the sequel series to RID, or not RID, to Prime, I am going to leave that one on a scale of, I'm actually going to agree with Winter Night on this one. I enjoyed it as its own thing, but as a like continuation of Transformers Prime, I kind of didn't really care for it all that much. And I also, again, As I stated, I didn't really watch Transformers Prime all that much, so you're really talking to the wrong person on that front. And I also did not watch much of RID 2001, so it's not like the biggest thing on my plate, but at the same time, I also have to agree with Winter Night. On a scale out of 1 to 10, I give it about a 6 because it's a watchable series for sure. It's a watchable series. But as a continuation of Prime, I feel like it there are lots of plot holes that I wish could be explained, but at the same time, I didn't, as I keep stating, I did not watch Transformers Prime, so I cannot confirm or deny everything I'm stating literally right at the moment. However, I can say as a sequel series, it didn't really feel like it struck the right balance. Hold on. Okay, I did also watch the He-Man, G.I. Joe, the original Mega Man, Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and also the original Thundercats. I did not watch Power Rangers because I didn't give two craps for it. And the reason why I did not give two craps for it is because my father is a fifth degree black belt in Taekwondo. So I know what a real fight looks like. I've been in a real fight, and I know that their version of fighting is ha 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 ha. Oh, did I hit you? Okay, I hit you. Ha ha. All right, you're down. And then in reality, in a real fight, it's bam. You got hit. What are you going to do now? Not hoo ha ha ha. Not hoya ha ha. Not any of that. It's physical contact. You got touched. What are you going to do now? Not hiya. Oh yeah, now I can play my little acting game. It's what are you going to do now that you're in a real fight? I know what a real fight looks like. Power Rangers to me never ever felt like a real show because they never showed a real fight. And you can get upset at me. You can like call me. You can tell me I need to revoke my nerd card. Um, hold on here, and it's the original Japanese show Kiryu Sentai Zai Ranger. I know, and take note. I also have met Power Rangers. I've met some of the original Power Rangers. I've met Walter Jones. I've met the original Red Ranger. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I did meet him. And fun fact, I even met Jason David Frank. I met Jason David Frank. I just did not care for Power Rangers. Take note, I met Jason David Frank 2 weeks before he died. I met him 2 weeks before the man passed away. Okay? Now, what he passed away of, that's a mystery, but I would like to just leave it at that. However, I met the dude. So, take note, I used to work at a toy store, and at that toy store, I had a boss who was a massive Power Rangers nerd, and he was a massive nerd for anything and everything Power Rangers. So what he would do is he would host events that would have the original Rangers. He would talk to certain original cast members. He even had certain original props from the original movies and the original TV shows, which is kind of cool. And he even produced his own Power Ranger movie, and he himself was going to be in the movie as the role of Goldar. So, which is cool. But I gotta say, it's great to know these people, but I just don't care. Look, I will say this about the Power Rangers. They have something that the Transformers, Thundercats, what was it, Voltron, G.I. Joe, they have it has the same pull, the same magnetic feel, the same magnetic draw to it. However, it draws a different generation. And I'm going to be real, I personally like the Transformers generations a little bit more than I do the Power Rangers generations, because the Power Rangers generations, I don't really feel like they know what a real fight looks like or feels like, or have gotten into a real fight. So I don't really feel like they know all of that. But at the same time, again, as I stated, I do understand that it has that same pull, it has that same magnetic draw, it's got that same feel to it for certain people. I just don't care. It's just not for me. I just don't care for all of it all that much. So, anyways, we'll keep the stream going for maybe another 5 or so minutes, and then we shall end it in the evening. So, that being said, I gotta tell you, I've run into some really strange people in lines for signatures and everything of that nature. One particular one was a really strange one. There was a line for whatchamacallit. There was a cart. I was at the Transformers. What was it? TF. I went to TFCon LA 2023. I was in line, and I didn't know who I was in line for. There was just a line for a bunch of stuff. And there was a guy sitting in line, and in front of me, he started talking, and I was like, I feel like I know who this dude is. And I talked to him a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And then as we were talking, I recognized him, funnily enough, not from Beast Wars, not from Beast Machines, not from RID, not from Armada, not from anything of the Unicron trilogy. I recognized him from a Jobby the Hong video. I recognized David K in a line. It sounds so far-fetched. It really does. But the catch is the first part is I was in LA, California. The second part is I was at a Transformers convention. Thirdly, David K is both Optimus Prime and Megatron. And fourthly, I was in line to meet. I remember exactly who I was in line to meet. I was in line to meet Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus Prime. Like this guy's voice. Move out of the way, Leonard Nimoy. This guy's voice right there. I was in line to go meet him, and David K was a couple people in front of me. Hold on here, Corey Tucker. Oh, and where I met her was at my local smoke shop, and I got her to sign my vintage Green Ranger shirt. That's pretty cool. I'm not okay. So just because we're talking about the Power Rangers at the current moment, I will discuss for the umpteenth time my encounter with David K that I really had no idea was David K, or not David K, Jason David Frank. Excuse me, not David K, Jason David Frank. I was literally working at my boss's toy shop. Now, take note, I don't really care for the dude. Dude was not really I was not his biggest fan. He was not my biggest fan. I'm still not his biggest fan. I would not work for him again. If I did meet him again on the street, I'd say hello. Might say hi, the whole deal, but I'm not gonna sit there and endure a lot of conversation with the guy. However, I was working at his toy shop, and all of a sudden, I just noticed this really ripped dude. Like, ripped to shreds, man. He was so ripped. I was like, what the heck is going on? Am I about to get killed? Am I about to get robbed? What's going on here? So, I'm just sitting behind the counter. I'm just waiting for him to do something, waiting for people to come in, waiting for other stuff to happen, waiting for my shift to end. And all of a sudden, the guy says, "Hey, where's your boss? Where's your boss's name?" We'll just say John. Where's John? And I'm like, John's not here at the moment, but he will be here in about 15 minutes. If you want to chill and wait for 15 minutes, he'll be here in about 15 minutes. So I thought that was great. I thought it was nice, and he was talking to me, and he was talking to other people in the shop, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then this is what made me a little bit more like, huh? Was when another employee showed up, had no clue who he was as well, and says to me, he goes, "Hey, do you know when Boss Man's gonna show up? Do you know when John's gonna show up?" I'm like, "No, I have no idea when he's gonna show up. He said 15 minutes, so he should be here in about 15 minutes." Well, again, this really, really buff dude walks right up to me and says, "I don't know if you know who I am, but I usually am able to go into the back room. Are you okay with me doing that?" I said, not that I'm trying to be mean to you or that I don't believe you or that I don't believe you know John. I can't let you in the back room. I'm sorry about that, but I just can't do that." And he goes, "You know what? I appreciate that. You're doing your job. I'll just wait for John to show up." Well, John shows up, and John says, "Hey, Jason, how you doing?" And Jason's like, "John, buddy, what's going on?" They both embrace each other in a hug, and my boss looks at me like I'm crazy, and then looks at me and says, "Don't you know who this is?" I'm like, "No, I don't know who this is. I don't know who this is at all." And then, next thing I know, he looks at me and he points at a mural on the wall, or not a mural, some sort of painting on the wall of all the Power Rangers, and it's got all of their signatures. Well, he points at him, and I'm like, "Okay, am I supposed to know who he is on that painting?" And I'm like, and he goes, "Don't you know who this is?" And I'm like, "No, I don't know who this is." And he goes, "This is Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger." And I'm like, again, congratulations. Don't know who you are. Don't really care. I'm clocking out. See you later. And then 2 weeks later, on the news, next thing I find out is that he overdosed on a dietary supplement that he'd been taking for years, or what was it, a weightlifting supplement, or I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but he overdoses on some sort of weird medication that he'd been taking for ages, and then my boss was all up in tears, and shortly after that I quit because I could not handle my boss anymore. So that's the story of how I met Jason David Frank on accident and not on purpose. But anyways, we are going to end the live stream currently right at the moment. So if you are paying attention and or watching, I appreciate you paying attention and watching and or commenting throughout the whole thing. So without further ado, we are going to jump right on into the shout outs, which are going to be, do not forget to check out Winter Night, Corey Tucker. Do not forget to check out Riveted Rail Fan. Do not forget to also check out Grayson Williams, W6Y7B. Do not forget to check him out as well. And I think we'll throw out the regular suspects as we always do. Do not forget to check out Lemon Lime Productions, Kitten Cat 999, Zaga the Animator. Let's see. Sentinel Edits, Truster Tube, and what the hey, we'll throw him out there as well. iStar552. As they are some friends, fans, and family of the show and the live streams and the channel. So please do not forget to go check all of them out. Do not forget to hit that like button. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button, as it definitely helps out. We are so close to 2,000 subscribers. And I did see your messages, Grayson Williams. I do apologize. But anyways, we are going to end the stream here. And do not forget to check out the main channel, and do not, hold on, let me read these last comments here. Okay, Tom, I also have a Black Ranger helmet being made at the moment. I will also post a photo of it next to my Green Ranger helmet when it arrives. That's cool. Anyways, do not forget to check out everybody, as I stated, including Grayson Williams, W6Y7B, and this is Thomas Fan 01 saying, do not forget to keep playing with your toys. Goodbye.